It's interesting having a time capsule of that person out there. Like if I were to write it today, I'd probably write it with a little more humor and compassion. But all of it would be a different book. Um,
But
and
again, it's just like building the muscle.
hmm
And so much, it's really just like a pendulum, I think, that I'm trying to work on within my own life is like it's like the creative part, but I got to make sure the life part, like
mm,
having that
you
balance
mean
because
like
I feel
eating
like
and a roof over heads and stuff? That
yeah, and just like
old Maslow shit.
how I show up and approach my own life
Yeah.
and self-discipline and all of that stuff. And I'm, I've definitely been changing things around here. In terms of like, okay, it's like I'm, just gonna really prioritize like my finances, my fitness, like all of this stuff. And it's so easy to want to escape, but I just feel like in mostly just like little ways, like, oh, I'll kind of like, I'll do my laundry tomorrow. I'll clean tomorrow. Tomorrow. Well, I've tomorrowed my way through like my 20s, and so
Yeah.
it's like,
Mm.
I definitely am realizing like, it's like a different, I feel like my 20s are kind of about reparenting myself, through like my emotional landscape, but now it's a little bit more about how I show up in the physical world.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And kind of like just balancing it all. But I feel like I guess maybe when I was of a of a younger mindset, I was like, if I could just do this creative thing and then it'll like solve all my problems,
Mm-mm,
or
doesn't.
like that'll and it won't. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I got to deal with myself first. Fuck, like
I'm still here. No.
yeah, but like that's also I think especially like in my lane of like wanting to do stand up again and is like I mean I do 3 shows a night for free when I'm working, but
Yeah.
it's just like I have to focus more on her and I just
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to do that, but it's also through that work that is what's going to make your creative work so much better. And that's what's going to give people kind of like a lighthouse,
Mm.
because so much about comedy for the most part is like the human experience, the pain of
Mm-hmm.
being alive, if we
Yeah.
don't laugh, we cry type thing. And I just, I don't know, I've always been so drawn to it, but
I
also
love
kind of
that
like,
lighthouse. Oh,
oh, what did you say?
I was going to say I love that lighthouse because that was one of the affirmations that I would repeat to myself on when I was like in the process of writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had something happen, or I did a past life regression because you mentioned like tomorrowing it through the what 20s or something.
Yeah,
How can you do that? Because we're still in our 20s.
that's right. It's been a
No.
long 2 years.
Yeah. Um,
Dog
no,
years.
so yeah, yeah. I had a past life regression on Friday, and so
Ooh.
I've always had like a sense of urgency or this thing about like death, like like an expert, like will I get my message or mission accomplished before I die, or like or like a uh, and so she took me, it was pretty interesting, like went into this space like between lives, and I went back to a lifetime where I was running through the woods. It was like the 1800s, and I was carrying a message, and I got caught
Like
by
Paul Revere kind of vibe?
like I was like fucking running, and I'm like I had to get this message, and like running through the woods, and I got caught with the message, and I was a medicine woman, and then the next image that we fast forward to was like in this little thing. I don't know how much of the camera can be seen right now, but it was like my head and hands in that thing, where
Oh,
there
like
is
in
no
like the
tomorrow.
old timey Shaco thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like who caught me, and it ended up being like someone that I have a soul agreement with in this lifetime too, as well. And I'll tell you who that is, Bradley. And so we have initiated, and yeah, and so like we talked about the beliefs that I had brought over into this lifetime, or even if it's running concurrent or whatever. And it was that I did not feel safe. I had to hide, or like there's an element of being hidden, and that there was also like a sense of urgency that to have my message be shared. It's like, no,
Yeah.
relax.
Well, I was talking with my friend Courtney. She's the one who went to F1
Mhm.
the other time, and she's like kind of gotten a lot more into astrology. And I know you and I talked about the North Node and South Node and Pisces
Yeah.
and Virgo because we're kind of all of the same time. And I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean for us? And she was talking about it, and I think it was the North Node, but don't quote me. And it was basically like how in previous incarnations we were like again, like people of service, like soldiers, doctors, nurses type stuff. And so this is more about like prioritizing ourselves, even though
Mm.
having kind of like that serving spirit. And I'm like, well, I guess my soul didn't get the memo because I was a waitress for 15 years. But you know what? She's busting out, late
Yeah.
bloomers getting out there, breaking through the concrete
I
of
know.
the
I wanted to
restaurant
look up
world.
what my horoscope says about my North Node in Pisces. I'm like, where is this real quick? How do I get there real quick? Oh, yeah. Okay. So for, and I don't know, I'm looking at horoscope. Let's see. Yeah, represents your destiny in the direction of your personal growth. The lessons you're meant to learn and path toward fulfilling your potential. Hmm. On this one, it says North Node in Pisces emphasizes spiritual growth, compassion, and transcendence. This placement encourages developing intuition, embracing unconditional love, and connecting with the divine or universal consciousness. Individuals are called to trust their inner guidance, practice empathy, and let go of the need for control. Damn it! The
Not
journey
my
involves,
specialty.
yeah, the journey involves learning to go with the flow, developing artistic or spiritual gifts, and finding unity in all things. It's about moving away from overthinking and embracing the magic and mystery of life. This placement challenges you to dissolve boundaries, tap into your imagination, and cultivate a deep sense of oneness with the universe. Cool. Oh, cool. That kind of tracks with like the creativity.
Yeah. And that's what I think about too, especially like seeing as many shows as I've seen,
Mm,
like the ones that have always landed with me are the people that just own the shit out of who they are. And they
yeah.
do it so unapologetically
Yeah.
because that's what yields like their best work. And
Yeah.
you think about like, yeah, we live in such a results content creation, execute, pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. Like it's like I'm really trying to make sure that I focus on the experience of it because it's like that's the energetic signature. That's that feeling that I see every time I'm out there when the headliner comes on and everybody's just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's what creates those moments for other people is when you first do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
what I feel like that's the yeah, what resonates or the secret sauce
yeah,
is being that unapologetically authentic truth because I think truth resonates. Oops, excuse me, I did a little burp. Like,
confirmation
and
burp, as
the,
the tarot readers
yeah,
say on TikTok.
the ownership. And like instead of like putting out there what you think will hit or go viral or like the kind of going back to like what Rick Rick
Rick
Rubin
Rubin.
said about like doing it for the reader, watcher, whatever,
Yeah.
listener, doing it for yourself and admitting that like that will pulsate at a different level of vibration than something that is kind of in a way a more manipulative energy versus
Yeah.
just like what the truth of or being of your essence. And when I see people like Jelly Roll or Bunny or whoever on TikTok, I'm like, it resonates. I'm like, because it's real. They're authentic, and that's
Yeah.
what resonates. Um, and then I also watched this video. I think it was Gary Brecka or Breck or whatever, whoever that dude is. He talks
I don't
about
know.
how there was like some like measurement of different emotions and things like that, or scales of frequency and stuff. And the highest one, higher than love,
It
is
was authenticity.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, that tracks. And I feel like